Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast, where we share and connect as we spotlight our favorite shows and movies. I'm Diana, and today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 17, and our recommendations on Great British Baking Show, The Patient, and the movies Dog, X, and more. Sam is joining me today. Hi, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to talk about The Walking Dead with you. Oh my gosh, it's going to be an emotional ride till the end. But in this episode, it started off with Judith's narration and us seeing villains in the past. So our question of the day is, who's your favorite Walking Dead villain or bad guy?
I think my favorite villain would probably be Negan. I think, I'm a Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan, so that's probably why I was excited and probably why right away he stood out to me. And I just he's got swagger and he's fun, and I don't know. I think some of his phrases are kind of hilarious, and it's kind of fun to hear what creations he's come up with. So that's why I like him. What about you?
I was going to say Negan too, because, but honestly, before I get into why I like Negan, before he became a better person, I didn't like him at all. I did not like him because I hated him because he killed my favorite character ever. Well, him and Rick. But I was like, oh my gosh, of course, all the villains in the past, except for Alpha, had a run in with Rick. So
Did he really not see any of the Whisperers? I guess not.
I don't recall. Yeah, because I don't think so. And if it was, they weren't aware of the Whisperers yet.
Maybe. I may have to rewatch when this is all done.
I know, exactly. Yeah, there's been some really good villains, and I just thought it was so cool that they highlighted them all. I thought that was just a great nostalgic piece that they put in there. But yeah, Negan, especially even in this episode, he's just great. I love it, but he still has retained his edge, which I think is really awesome. And yes, the one-liners are so good.
They're so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. It's Negan. So friends out there, let us know what you think. Who is your favorite Walking Dead villain or bad guy? You can leave us a comment on social media, our website, or email at screensinfocus@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. The links are in the show notes. Okay, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to talk about some Walking Dead news that's out there. And you may know this, but for those of you who don't, I just want to touch upon it. So, The Walking Dead Dead City will feature Negan and Maggie as they travel to Manhattan on a new mission. And this series is currently filming in New Jersey. And then Rick and Michonne, oh my God, the spinoff with Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera. They return to the Walking Dead universe in their own spinoff, which that one I cannot wait for that one, because of course I want to see Rick so bad, and Michonne. So I'm just really excited.
I'm excited, and I'm glad that they, I think the movies would have been too much, and I'm kind of glad that they're doing just like the shows.
I agree.
I hope, I don't know. I think it'll be good, and I am very excited because I really do miss that, them both. I don't know.
And then for them to be reunited with Judith and to meet
RJ.
Yeah.
But I think they'd have to do it right, because I wouldn't we'd have to see Michonne getting to Rick, and then them getting their crap, their stuff together, and then them trying to find everyone else. I think I would hate it if we just got there and Rick was a bebopping with Michonne. I think I would.
Exactly.
I'd be excited to see that, but then I'd be like, well, I don't how. So.
I had heard that it will take, I got the impression we were going to see Michonne first, because when she took off, we knew she was well and good. And I think we'll see her and what she goes through. And then she's supposed to connect with Rick, and we're supposed to see Rick. And I think they have to go through some stuff, either emotionally, physically. I don't know what it is, to get to each other. So it's not going to be, like you said, it's not going to be like, hug and then let's get the kids. No, I think it's going to be although it's only 6 episodes, that's not very long to have all that happen either. So,
and it's, oh no.
So I don't know. Well, it would have been like, that would have been
movie,
3 2-hour movies, right? So
yeah, I guess in my head though, like I have no problem with watching like an hour-long episode, like 3 or 4 of them, but I won't watch a 4-hour movie. So I think in my head, I'd rather have the 6 episodes and not,
it makes sense. Yeah.
But
because you can take a break and go do whatever it is and come back and watch the next one. Yeah, it makes total sense. So, and then there's the Daryl spinoff, which will take him to France, which is called Daryl Dixon. I don't know if you heard that. It just came out this week. I think he put it out on Twitter. So his spinoff is called Daryl Dixon. And so he'll go to France, where we encounter the variant walker seen in the after credits of The World Beyond. Oh my God, that's going to be really scary.
I'm terrified. I'm so excited because I feel like the walkers are always a threat, of course, but like if they can run and open doors, I know. That's like, I have like, what's really funny is I have recurring zombie nightmares, like legit, like I don't ever see any of the zombies, but it's like I have to like, get myself around. So I think I'm trying to like therapize myself, which is don't really do this, but like I'm like, if I watch The Walking Dead, maybe it'll stop, and it doesn't. So like the running zombies are going to be like, oh my gosh, like ooh.
Yeah, too scary. Yeah.
Scary.
Because how do you get away? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, no. and then, of course, Fear the Walking Dead is currently filming its 8th season in Savannah, Georgia. And then this upcoming season will shed more light on Padre. So.
I don't really watch that one too much. I will catch up when it's on Hulu, because that's when I watch my things mostly.
Yeah.
I don't like commercials. I got real spoiled.
I know. It's hard. All right. So let's get down to episode 17, entitled Lockdown. So this episode began with Judith's narration and a flashback to some of the very first episodes. I thought it was pretty emotional and a great sense of nostalgia. I mean, we saw Rick, right? In the hospital gown.
Looks like he was skinny and like he was younger, because it was like 10, 12 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. And Daryl, Maggie, and the group battle Hornsby and the stormtroopers. Negan sets out to the Commonwealth to get word to the others. Protests at Commonwealth increase as they demand for the truth. A swarm of walkers is nearing the Commonwealth as a lockdown is ordered, and Carol is strategizing and preparing for the group's possible departure.
She's always strategizing.
I know. That's what Carol. I love about her. That's what I love about her. So what did you think of this episode?
I really enjoyed it. I've watched the show since it pretty much started, and I've always enjoyed it, but I always haven't had the highest opinion of it. It had a couple rough years, but I always stuck with it and everything. But I got really nervous because, it is the final 8 episodes, and not that they've strung anything along, but I don't know. I just get nervous for premieres and stuff. And so I was afraid that this wasn't going to be a good episode, but everything worked. It wasn't boring. Things happened, and I loved, it was actually kind of scary at points, not with the walkers, but just with everyone trying to hide and not get caught. It was Jerry and the kids, Carol and the kids. And then, I wasn't sure. I thought it was funny that, I was waiting to see the reaction, of Carol to the big news that Negan has a wife and a baby on the way. I was like, that's full attention. What's she going to do? Because I projected that they may have a relationship, just projected that onto the show. So
wait, say that last thing again.
I'm projecting my thoughts that they're going to have a relationship, that they were a kind of flirty.
Because, I think that is a lot of people, their perception. I think that they thought they were putting that out that are on Twitter, I think on Monday, because everything on Twitter was Negan Carol. And I think it was combining those two. I don't know, but I don't know that it would go that way. And apparently not. Because
I guess. Although, I mean, I always, like, I have concerns for his wife. Like, there's not, like, because it would be, like, not that I know this happened, but it's, like a karma thing where, like, I mean, he killed how many people? And so, like,
that's what I said, actually, what you're saying.
And then what if that happens and then he goes off to New York to go bash some skulls? I have no idea what the show's going to be about, but then, like, Maggie has to go and bring him back from the edge of darkness.
I know, right?
Because I don't know how else they're going to end up in New York. Like, why those two?
Ooh, I know. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that later, because I have some thoughts on that too, but we'll share those later.
What did you think?
I was so excited it's back. I was all prepped. Me and my husband were like, oh, it's on tonight, and I had to make sure everybody was out of the house. I hosted a barbecue, and I'm like, everybody has to leave. I have to be on my couch at a certain time, because I had to watch that, and I had to watch House of the Dragon. So I had my lineup ready. So yes, but I was so excited, and I thought it was a great episode overall. There was some, like you were mentioning, there was some real intensity in this episode that I was excited to see. And with Daryl and Maggie facing Hornsby and the stormtroopers, as I call them, and also with the kids, like you had mentioned, Carol, and with Jerry, that was intense. And I wondered how they would handle it if they got found, because I almost thought, even though they're going to probably be safe, I kept thinking, oh my God, what if he sees them? What if they open the cabinet?
Yeah.
What if that guy saw Jerry up on the balcony? So,
I mean, they probably would just get, like, they would, like,
be
grabbed and taken somewhere.
Yeah.
And then used as, like,
But also Maggie and Daryl, when they weren't just going to be taken somewhere. They were going to be shot.
No. And I guess I meant the kids and Carol and Jerry.
But with them, I was worried too. And then the music. There was that music. It was
Bear McCreary kills it.
He does.
I can see why, like, House of the Dragon would, like, snatch him up, because he's so good.
I noticed that. Mm-hmm. I noticed that. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, at the end, when Daryl had Hornsby, I was eagerly awaiting what was going to happen next. And then the credits rolled.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really didn't know it was going to end yet. Like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't look at the clock. I was just watching, and I'm like, oh, this is a great moment. And then it ends, and I'm like, oh, man, I gotta wait, which is a great sign.
It's a great sign. I was just going to say, that's a great sign that, like, you were so into it, because I had the same exact thought. I looked at my dog and was like, it's over, Moose. She was like, okay.
I love that. And so, yeah, and I really appreciated that they showed us what was happening at the Commonwealth and with our group, right? It wasn't in one area. It was like back and forth. So I liked watching that too. So what stood out to you in this episode?
Honestly, how easy the Commonwealth, like, stormtroopers were taken down by some walkers. Like, I think we're, like, 15 years into the apocalypse, and I know that, like, the Commonwealth has had it easier than, like everyone else, but you're the people protecting an entire, like, town, and 3 walkers take you down when you're in a city, and then, like, you're in, like, an empty field, and somehow, like, your car flips. Who taught you to drive? Was it Lori? Like, what do you mean? I don't know.
Oh my God.
And then instead of running away, like, say I'm in the Walking Dead universe and I'm still there. I'm a badass, I guess. And I somehow wreck the car, and there's, like, walkers that direction, and behind me is safety. Even if my job was to clear these walkers out, but help is coming, I'm going where the help is. I'm not, no. And also, how strong are these walkers? They tore that man apart like he was a croissant. Like, what do you, like, raspberry croissant. But, like, how do you, like...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, that's killing me. Oh, God.
I just don't know how, like, and of course I'm thinking of, like, from, like a logic standpoint with, like, the muscles would be so deteriorated at this point, but, so I'm trying to, like, suspend that. But even so, like, I don't know, I'm thinking way too much into it.
No, I totally agree with you. We've said this in in the last segment, we had mentioned that the stormtroopers don't seem very well prepared, that our group is much better prepared.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Mercer's pretty good. So I don't know why he's not training people to be like him. But maybe
because he has to do everything else. He's he's everything, I think.
And I just don't understand because I feel like so many of these troopers just get left and right every episode. They're not very well trained at all.
Or in other scenes, they're like complete, like they just handle things. Like the one when they're like in the woods or something. There was like a bunch of them and they just shot down like everything. They were really like good then. So I don't know what kind of team this is. A C team.
I know the C team. I know. Oh my gosh. So I actually really loved seeing Daryl and Maggie in their kick-ass mode. I really did. After all these years, they really know how to have each other's backs. They were so proficient in what they did. Daryl was like full throttle with that gun and the car. It was crazy. It was just a cool scene. And even with Negan, I thought it was shot really well. We hadn't seen a car chase scene in a while.
Have we ever?
Yeah, I think why do I think Negan was in it before?
In the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's like the police have a car chase.
Oh, that one.
That's the first episode. The first scenes.
But I think we may have had one in the middle there. I don't know why I thought Negan might have been involved in that one too. I'm not really sure. But
there was that really cool scene where they had the cars and they had to clear. It was like a highway of like walkers, and they had like a rope or whatever. That was really cool.
That was
just
a cool
thinking
one
about
too.
that.
Yeah, and so it was just really good to see it. I just thought it was great. And then I knew Daryl was going to help Negan get to the Commonwealth. I knew he was going to ram into that car because, I don't know, just the way they shot it and because Negan was being chased really closely. And I'm thinking, Daryl's going to come in on the other direction and hit this car. And that's exactly what he did.
Which I think is incredibly stupid. I mean, I think we needed to get, that needed to get handled. But why would you put yourself in a car accident in the zombie apocalypse when you don't have a doctor? Like, what are you going to go back to the Commonwealth? They're going to turn you away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And like, obviously he's fine. And I knew he'd be fine because, it's Daryl.
But yeah.
Yeah. But just like, I don't know. It was a very cool scene though.
Oh, and in that whole scene there, Negan had that whisperer mask.
I know.
Which was interesting. I'm like, oh, you still kept that because I think he keeps pulling it out or people keep finding it.
I mean, I would do that. It's like if you're ever in like a sticky spot, it might help you.
Well, and he used it, but then I thought, what if he got shot? Because people thought he was a walker. So I thought, oh my gosh, because they were shooting walkers left and right. So it was funny, but I guess because they were looking for humans at that time.
Maybe he well, I mean, I think the Commonwealth stormtroopers are afraid of the walkers. So they're like, no. Maybe he checked everything out and looked around him and saw that there was only like those two guys. So he knew it was safe to pop on that mask.
To pull it off. Yeah. Then when he did get to the Commonwealth and he meets up with Mercer, I love their conversation in the interrogation room. And Mercer tells Negan, we've got rules. And Negan says, well, if no one else is playing by them, why are you?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that interaction.
I really enjoyed that. And I think that's another, because I think everything's starting to chink away at the armor that is like the Commonwealth. And so I think at that point, Negan, did he alert to Mercer that he was sent by Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. So I was trying to think if this outside person is coming in who has no idea about the Commonwealth, maybe it would help to chink away at that armor. But
yeah. No, because that was the last line of that whole interrogation. So he already knew that Daryl had sent him. Yeah. So he was aware of that.
One of the other things that I think stood out to me was in the episode, they're all out in in like the square, like doing like the protesting. And there are two people, they like, I think they must, it's like a panning shot where they like come from in the crowd, then it pans around to people who are getting ice cream. And they just look at like at the crowd like, ugh, there's like such like disdain. And I think, we were like, at first we were all suspicious of the Commonwealth, and it seemed too good to be true, and all that kind of stuff. And it made me wonder how like the others were starting to feel about the Commonwealth, because they haven't really done, I think you can kind of see like the disparity between the people, that, you know, that there is like a class thing going on. Definitely. And I think they've done a good job of like portraying that like on the screen. And it's easy to forget sometimes when you spend time with like all the people who are higher up, like the Rosita and Carol and Daryl, and, you know, so I just thought it was maybe like The Walking Dead's trying to like comment on like the political stuff going on, like, you know, like in the world. Yeah. And I think like it actually worked. I was afraid when they started. I was like, oh, this could go like so bad. Cause like, you know, like other shows are trying to do it as well. And I don't think I have an example, you know, right now, but I was like, what if this goes bad? And no, but it worked and I really liked it. But like, it makes me sad that not even like the apocalypse can stop. Like it even that isn't even exempt from like there being like unrest. It made me sad to think about it.
100%. That's so funny because I did mention that way back on some episodes that every community that starts to build has issues. It's like after you get a certain amount of people.
Because people are going to people.
Yeah. And then there's got to be someone who's going to be a leader. And then you're going to have people that have difference of opinions. I mean, even in a small group that happens, but I think it can be handled easier within a small group because not everybody thinks the same. Shane didn't think the same as Rick. Merle didn't think the same as Daryl, you know, so you have, everybody has their own opinions of how they're going to run things. But the more people you get, just like the governor when he was running his town, and even Alpha in running the Whispers, you know, when that, you know, the Whispers would have babies and how she would treat their children. And some of them like, no, I want my baby.
I'm not going to.
Yeah. Ugh. So it happens. It happens as people get populated, and this Commonwealth has 50,000 people. So you do have this divide in different social classes and everything. So
I didn't realize, I think I knew that the Commonwealth was like really large, but I don't think I realized just how how large it actually is. And I think there must have been like a drone shot or something. And you could just see it was like a city. It was like being like, you know, a downtown Pittsburgh or, you know, like LA, or not quite as big, but, you know, like. Yeah,
exactly. But a city that's functioning and has all kinds of things. Yeah.
Ooh, but speaking of that though, I liked how, do we see, when Negan gets out, like in the world, he's like walking like in the streets, and he's just looking up, and he's probably just like, what in the hell? Like, what is this?
Yes, exactly.
I thought that was like amazing.
I love that too. I also really appreciated seeing Carol in her mode when she was cooking like she normally does.
Cooking with Carol.
It reminded me when she was in Alexandria and caring for the kids. She's always seems to be this caregiver, but I kept wondering how much she had prepared these kids beforehand, because it did remind me of when she was in the prison teaching all the kids how to use knives and weapons. And I feel like these kids are a little better prepared because of their parents, but still, I think Carol was the perfect person for them to be their caretaker here. And so when she looks out the window and notices those people are coming, and she tells the kids, hey, we're going to play the quiet game. And so they all run and hide. And then you see her with a knife outside the window, and you're like, where are the kids? And then
Like, isn't she in like isn't she in like a square? Like, what
Yeah.
are people gonna think? Like, a crazy lady's up on like a tiny little ledge holding a knife,
They're too busy protesting over there.
or they're not paying attention to anything that's not their ice cream. You know, so I guess like they're either like, oh, that's just Carol being Carol, and or they don't even notice.
But the kids hiding, I was like, oh my God, please don't find the kids. Please don't find the kids. And the music again, there's where the music came in. It was really good. But I just love Carol.
She's great.
Yeah. I just love her thought process and how she goes about things. She's so strategic, which you had mentioned earlier. And she's so matter of fact. She always is calm. She's cool. She's collected. She's thinking ahead. She's making a plan. And so I just love all of that. And after the guys go away, Negan and Jerry, who had met up earlier, come to her and tell her what's happening. And of course, she sets her motion and plan, and she knows what they're going to do. And so they go search for some plans of, I guess, hidden places. I don't know. But
like, how does she come up with this stuff? Like,
because she's always on the inside learning stuff.
Yeah.
She's always... Even when she was with Hornsby and other people, she's always thinking. She's always looking. Think about this. If you went into a new place and you weren't 100% about them.
You're right.
Every time you looked or you would learn something, you would say, oh, I could use this. I could use this.
I'm thinking about it from the comforts of my like little home. Like, I'm not thinking as if I have to like, be prepared to like a moment's notice.
Yeah. So she is totally doing that, and she's so good at it. So I just love that. And so she's planning for their insurance to be able to get out of there. And then that's when you had talked about how Negan was, you were anticipating when Negan was going to share the information, and he does tell her, and she says, everything's going to be okay. And I thought, I was kind of speechless. I'm like, where are you guys going with this relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, just as, I don't know, in teammates, I don't know, because she was ready to get rid of him, right? When she sent him off to the cabin.
I think that's why they have like a bond. Cause I think like you have to have a certain kind of relationship to be able to be like, you're staying here. You don't listen. Something's going to happen, So
I love that.
I know.
I love it because she's her.
And she's so unassuming too. Like, I would never look at her like she's got her, which I love the hair. But she's got her hair all, it's like down. So like, and she's wearing these like light, like, it's like, she's wearing a practical clothing, but it's still like light and fun and airy. It's like a linen or something. And I love it that like you would never assume that a person with the children could like, she could shake your ass in a heartbeat, not even feel bad about it.
When Negan tells Sebastian, I've seen her pull bunnies
who I am?
Yeah, I've seen, that too. But when he says, I've seen her pull bunnies out of her ass or something like that.
It was something.
She's throwing you a lifeline.
You better get in it.
Just you take it, or whatever.
I think when he said like I've seen her pull the bunnies out of her butt, I think they did like a quick like a pan to her, and she was like, like, or she was in the shot, and you could just like her face was like, okay. It was really funny though.
It was funny. All right. Do you have any other thoughts or tidbits on this episode?
One thing I think I really hadn't paid attention to before, and in this episode, I don't know why. I don't know. I think maybe because I was I was taking notes, so I think I was like extra paying attention, maybe. But everyone in the Commonwealth just like they have a gun, and if there's a zombie, they just like point and shoot, and they don't like are they? Do you think that they have a way to manufacture bullets? And if they have shown that, I missed that completely. But
no, I haven't seen that.
But I wonder, because like our people, they had, they were trying to make their own bullets because they really didn't have any. And because they got started like early on, they still had like maybe they built around like a plant or something, and maybe they do like have their own way to make bullets.
I'm sure they do. They haven't talked about not having that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it makes me wonder what's their like hand to hand or like their hand to hand a combat like if all they do is like point their gun and shoot. Maybe that's why they don't really survive out in the field because they don't know how to. Mm-hmm. Which then that's a chink in a Commonwealth's armor. And I mean, like our guys can handle it, but maybe might be easier.
Yeah.
And then I wondered, is Pamela Milton a good leader, or does she just come from like good political stock? Because so far, I mean, we're coming in at like a weird time, but like, our guys got there and immediately were picking it apart. And like, if it was that easy to like bring like, all the bad things to light and people to like start to protest, how strong is your stuff? And then that made me wonder.
I don't think people are questioning it because they're comfortable.
Probably.
And so they just haven't until someone actually says something that makes them think. Or maybe, there are underground people. We haven't learned about them too much yet, but there is an underground set of people, right?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
that's right.
I so I think that they're helping out the group too. And so maybe they're just putting it out there more, and maybe some of those people are the protesters.
Yeah. I also really didn't like when they bring Sebastian to them, how Pamela, when she's like, oh, she's going through like a rebellious phase. Is she really trying to pull the boys will be boys thing? That shit doesn't work in the before times. It doesn't work in the now. It's never going to work, Pamela. Like, I was like, I can't believe they wrote that in there. Boys will be boys. Turn my nose up.
Son. I mean, look at the way he's been raised. Look at such a bad.
He's a little shit. That's what he is.
He is. Absolutely.
I thought it was very convenient that they happened upon like a sewer system, like it's like the size of my house.
I know.
Which is. I mean, I guess they would have to have those kinds of rooms because of the workers and stuff. So it's not like I don't think I want to think about going underground. So I don't think about things underground too often. Right. So I haven't thought about like what a sewer system will look like. But I just thought it was funny. It was like humongous.
I wonder how close they are, because there is that train station and everything. I don't know that would have anything to do with it, but I
don't know.
I just wonder about that. Yeah.
And then the final thing, I was thinking about like the more like advanced walkers, how like I think in both the trailers, I think Aaron mentions like he's heard them being able to open up doors and things like that. And I'm very excited that it's like bringing back like a real like horror like element. Because I liked in the beginning when the walkers were like, like a major threat, and then it more became the other people. Yeah. And so I'm kind of happy that maybe we'll get more of like a walker threat. And maybe that'll help to like bring people together. Maybe it'll unite the factions. Maybe.
And speaking about the walkers, I miss that the walkers don't look more like a person anymore. Yeah. They look more just like monsters now.
Yeah.
And for some reason, for me, a monster isn't as scary as a person.
No.
I would rather see a person or somebody who looks more like a person because it's creepier for some reason.
Because it's when you look at a thing that has like no skin and some bones sticking out and it's not, it doesn't look human, that's easier to like, oh, I'm just, let me go get my gun. I'm going to shoot it. But if it's a person, then it's like a moral thing where you're like, it looks like a person. What if it's not actually a zombie,
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's like scarier because it requires more thought and like, the heebie-jeebies.
It does. And there's just something scarier about it. And because I have started rewatching again for another time from the beginning, watching them through. I'm currently on season 5, but the episodes are so good and the walkers are just.
Which one, what's happening in episode 5?
Or not episode 5, sorry, season 5.
Yeah,
season 5.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Where did I leave off? Okay, wait, I have to remember.
I just want to know.
Terminus. It's after Terminus.
Okay.
It's after they leave the church with Father Gabriel.
Oh, okay. A Father Gabe.
Yeah, when he was all Mr. Cowardly and all of that.
And now he
was going through. I know. Now he's.
And now you can call me Father Gabe.
Him so much better now. Yeah, and that's when the when Abraham took Glenn and Maggie because he wanted to take the vehicle and Rick didn't want him to. And then that's when Glenn and Maggie said, go ahead and take it. And they take off and they find out the truth about Eugene and then they come back. I mean, there's so much. It's so good.
Oh, I forgot about all that.
Yeah, just go rewatch it. It's so good. But the walkers, even earlier on, I mean, by 5, they're already changing. But even episodes or seasons 1 and 2, they're still really scary. They're just, I love them. So, I wanted to mention, because you had talked earlier about Mercer and Rosita and everybody else being out there trying to push back the walker and the swarm and everything, and how that one stormtrooper was torn apart, because I noted that too, how voracious their appetite was and how aggressive these walkers were. I mean, I noticed it. I was like, oh my God, they're really hungry. They're just tearing these people apart. And I love that Mercer tells Rosita, if you need help getting out of here, I got you. I thought that was really sweet.
It was really nice.
And Pamela Milton, can she be trusted? Because when she radioed them, her troops or whatever it is, after she saw that they said the Miltons are murderers, I think she had them release those walkers so that the walkers would come and then they could throw out the tear gas and have everybody in lockdown.
Yeah.
Because she wants to she doesn't want them ganging up. She wants them all in their houses. So
yeah, and if they hear that there are walkers outside, then they're not going to want to leave, and that'll maybe be like, well, maybe we shouldn't stir the pot anymore because what happens?
True.
And so
exactly,
I thought it was funny. I was like, so she said B14. It's like, what could that mean? Does she need vitamins? Bingo, But so and I think my first thought, my actual a true thought, not a joke thought, was that a B14 was like a lockdown because of the walkers, which then I was like, but we've been here for however long and we've never heard that there hasn't been a breach, there hasn't been anything. And so then I was like, maybe it was to release the walkers.
Yeah. I think that was a super bad move because you may be using them to settle the community down, but your stormtroopers are getting killed. She's a murderer. You're using your ammunition. And what if you can't control them? These are swarms of walkers. This is how your place is going to be torn down. I really do believe that. I really believe that the walkers are going to get in and they won't be able to survive. It'll break down the system for a while or get into people. This is what happens in Survivor. I'm just bringing this up because one of the things that really irritates me in Survivor is when people give up. They're like, oh, let's lose this challenge so we can get this person out. I'm like, are you stupid? You cannot get rid of one freaking person. No matter how much you don't like them, you need them. And once you start losing so that you can vote someone out, that is the worst choice. And that's the same thing I feel about this.
And it's really not, it's not a fun thing to watch either. The whole point of watching the show is to be entertained. And if everyone's just going to give up, that's not entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly.
You gotta fight.
So I do not think that was a smart move on her part, but
she probably doesn't realize how bad it is. When was the last time she was even out? Well, I guess she was outside the walls, to convince some people, but
people
were alone outside of the walls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And one walker gets in and those people have no idea what to do. If the stormtroopers are doing that, what are regular people going to do?
Exactly. They don't have weapons because they're not allowed to have them. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Carol's like, hey, I'm going to be a chef.
Yeah.
Let me work in a kitchen full of sharp instruments. Or she wants to have a wood shop or something.
I know.
Carol.
So the other two things that I wanted to bring up was that this was directed by Greg Nicotero, which I love him. I do love him. And I shouldn't have doubted that he directed this because of the car chase scene and the walkers and the Freddy Krueger walker. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. He did that on purpose. And so Yeah, it's just a really cool thing. So I'm like, oh my God, this has him all over it. And that's why that one walker was all torn apart.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at that. And they're all like they're all eating him and tearing his guts out. So,
and I don't know if it was just like, because like a lot of the walkers are like gray, brown, like blackish, but like that blood seemed like extra red. But I think it might have just been because like they're so like decayed and stuff now that it just looks like extra bright. I thought it was funny that like Sebastian's stuck in that closet and he's like peeing in jars, but also drinking wine. Probably when was the last time he had any water? Like,
I did not notice that. That's so funny.
Yeah, I think because I watched it like three times. So like I was paying attention, like like each time I'd watch it, I'd look for different things, and so I was scanning the room. I'm like, what does he have in here? And I saw I was like, it was full, gross. Then he had like a big bottle of red.
God, he's crazy. Yeah, and also at the very end, Hornsby had that smile on his face.
He's like a little snake.
Yeah,
like
he is a snake.
Sniveling. Ugh.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy.
Oh, he's great. What is really funny about that is he was on a Netflix show. I think it was 13 Reasons Why. He played the dad of one of the kids. So like in the show, he's like a doctor and he's really nice and like, you know, I think that's the same actor. And so it's nice to see him do something else where he gets to like play a little, you know, a rat.
Different role.
Yeah.
All right. We are at our segment and the award goes to. So Sam, I would like to know, what was your favorite quote, character, or moment?
So I really liked when after the kids get out of like the apartment and they're trying to escape the like big tall guy and the woman, how Jerry, he like, I think he whispers to another person like, hey, like we need like interference. And those people just like hop to like so quickly. And it made me wonder, like, are these people part of like the resistance? Do they just think that, you know, like he's a good guy, so let's just help out Jerry, whatever he needs? Because he's so likable, and I think I'd help him do whatever. And so I just really liked how, like, you know, our people aren't alone, which was really nice. Because, like, we're thinking we're going into this big battle. What are they gonna do? And, you know, they're making, like, they do have friends, you know.
They do. Really You're nice. Right. Yeah, that's a great thing to note. So my favorite moment was between Maggie and Daryl. When Maggie says to Daryl, I know Leah meant something to you. I'm sorry. And Daryl says, Glenn would have wanted me to look after you. You don't ever have to say sorry, not to me. Oh, man. It was a beautiful scene. It made me really happy and like really sad to think about, you know, that they're both losing somebody. But does he really think that she still blames him for that? It's been 10, 12 years. He still feels guilty. He still feels guilty.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. But even so, she's his family.
I know.
I 100% think that she's my family, and this is what Glenn would have wanted. When somebody passes away, it doesn't matter how many years or how long it is, you still, even if it's not your fault, even the fact he does carry that burden still, but you still want to take care, or you still represent somebody you loved. So you're going to keep representing that person that you loved to whoever they cared about and whoever you care about. So I just think there's probably added guilt on his part, even though he shouldn't feel guilty. But I still think that even if he didn't, he would still feel like he owed his friend something.
I think I would just want him to do it because he felt like she was family and not because he felt like he had to.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so too. I agree with you. And I get that. But I know people had felt when he had done that to Leo, why he didn't say anything, why they didn't address it. So I'm really glad that they brought it up. And on The Talking Dead, he did say, and it was revealed that he came up with that line himself.
Oh.
He wanted to bring up Glenn. And so they put it in there.
All right. So, I love that a lot more than I don't care.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
it's like perfect.
No. Yeah. It is perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So since we are reminiscing about the past, since the Walking Dead universe is doing that, we want to do that here too. So what I would love to know is what character from a previous season would you have liked to have seen in this episode?
I think Deanna from Alexandria, because I think that's what she wanted Alexandria to be what the Commonwealth is. And so I think if she would have survived, it would have been nice to see like her get involved, and maybe like, you know, if things did go like by the wayside with Pamela Milton, then like she could step in because she had a similar dream and we know she's good people. And it would just be nice that could be like a nice, you know, a nice way to like end things, or just like a nice way to, you know, just like put it in the plot, I guess. And and like, you know, she could have like helped, you know, like her husband had all these plans and stuff, and it would have been like a way for her to like honor him and things like that. So
I think that's great. I think that I could see her in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been great.
Well, when she did die, it kind of like, I mean, her character was fine. Like I didn't have a problem with her, but she wasn't like a favorite. But right. I thought that it was kind of like a sucky way to go out for her. I don't want her to go down in like a blaze of glory either, I guess. I thought it was like too soon. Like they just finally started to be like, you know, like a unified group, and then she dies. Yeah. And I don't know. That whole episode's really good though. It's not the one where they're outside trying to walk and that kid has like a panic attack.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that exact one. It could be. It could be. But maybe. It's around there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you want to bring up dog?
No, because I misunderstood the assignment. I thought it was like just like one that hadn't been in the episode. I thought it was just like I misread it. The assignment, yeah. I thought it was like a
You could have said.
I mean, because I worry about dog. Most like when I watch a movie and they're like I love animals. Everyone does, but. Yeah. I like if there's a movie where there's a dog in it and it's like a horror movie, like an action movie or something, I go to the website, does the dog die? Because I just have to prepare myself. So like I worry about dog. Plus he's like the best friend of Daryl.
He is.
Is he gonna go to France with him?
Where is dog? I don't know. Where is he? Yeah. You're right. Where is dog? We need to see more of dog.
Oh no. I think what if he dies and then because is he gonna take him to France?
He can leave him with somebody. Maybe he leaves him with Judith or somebody. Okay. He's probably not gonna take him to France. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
But I had like a real bad thought there. I was like, what if he dies? How about you? Who would you want?
I have to say Glenn. I say Glenn all the time, but the reason I have to say Glenn is because they already mentioned his name in this episode. So how can I not pay tribute to Glenn? I love Glenn. I love Stephen Yeun.
He's great.
As an actor. He's just, if he is on something, I want to see it. I really do. He's just a great actor. He was so good in this role. I love what Glenn brought to all of them, to Maggie and everybody. He was always very strategic, which I really liked about him. And I felt that he had a really great balance to him. Because he wasn't just shooting people, didn't like some of the others, wasn't about to just kill people right off. He had to have a really good reason to kill somebody. He just wasn't just going to do it because he had a conscience, you know.
Yeah, he was like the canary to everyone else. Like he would be like in their ears trying to calm them down, making them try to see reason. And
yeah,
I miss that.
I just love that about him. He's. You know, besides Rick, he is my favorite character. And I think with him and Maggie teaming up, they would have been so good together. Just especially in this point in time, they would have been honed in on everything and they would have been this team that was just unbreakable and great leadership. So I would have loved to have seen him. And I miss him. So. Oh, man. So what do you hope to see in the next episode? Or do you have any predictions about this whole ending that's upon us that I can't take?
So I want to see Dog because, once again, I'm worried about him. And I want to see Sebastian get some kind of like a comeuppance because he's a little shit, and I don't like him. And then I would love to see Princess, because she was like I really enjoyed her character. She's really funny, and I love her. Like, her being with Mercer is great. Like, they're so funny, because I don't think he really knows like how to, like, he might now, but I think at first he didn't know how to like take her with her, like, she's talking to him and flirting, and he probably hasn't been flirted with in forever, which don't know why, but like, he's probably just like, what is this person doing? And so they're just so cute together.
They are.
And I think she's helping to bring him around to like, like our side, which then puts me terrified that he's going to die, because,
I know.
But he's a proven badass. Like, when he goes in the field, he's like handling his stuff. So maybe he'll be fine.
So I agree. I want to see Princess.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Eugene and Ezekiel. And
what kind of hair is he going to have? Do you think it will have magically grown like a foot from the last episode? Even though it's like the same day, but his hair is so ridiculous. He's like a longer ponytail than like, I mean, I have short hair, so
I don't know. We'll have to see.
But it also, like, even though it's so weird, it also, like, it's him. Like it fits him, and like, I
totally
love it on him.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny.
It is. So we'll have to see. But I wanted to say, I want Hornsby to die, right? But I don't think he's going to die yet. And before Hornsby dies, I've heard this rumbling out there, and I don't like it, but I'm going to say what I've heard.
Okay.
That will he trade people to the CRM, because he has already talked about trading goods or whatever it is with another entity.
Okay.
Because Daryl is going off, or gets to France somehow.
Oh.
Also,
okay.
Why is Maggie going to New York? So it makes me wonder, does he get little Herschel? Because I kept wondering, why would Maggie leave little Herschel?
Yeah.
And take off? And I thought, oh no, please don't take little Herschel and kidnap him, or whatever it is, trade him off somewhere. And now she's got to go find him. And then did you ship Daryl off just the way Rick got, helicoptered off? Is someone taking Daryl to France? Because why would he just ride off to France of all places, right?
Yeah.
So it just makes me think that Hornsby is going to, or even Pamela. Yeah, exactly. That they're going to do something before, but I think that The Walking Dead will still have a somewhat satisfying ending, but that will also have these things that are not tied up.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes these people in the spinoffs go do whatever it is they need to do. But it hurts me. Yeah. I don't like that at all.
No.
I don't want that to happen, but I thought, oh, this could really happen. So,
but as much as I don't want it to happen, it is a nice way to explain why they're going those places. Yeah, so it is very convenient, which is fine. Yeah, like maybe they take like a tiny Herschel, and then they kidnap like who's Negan's wife?
Aaron's?
Annie and the baby. That they kidnapped them too. And that's why they have to go, is because they're in New York.
Because oh my gosh, I can't. My mind's.
It seems like blowing. a weird trade off though, because they get to go to New York, but he gets to go like over to France. And Daryl gets to go on like the big trip, and Negan and Maggie are stuck. Just still
maybe Daryl finds out something's over there. I don't know. We'll find out. We can be guessing, right?
Yeah.
Up until we've got 7 more episodes to guess through. So, oh my goodness. I can't wait. Okay. Well, that wraps up our conversation on The Walking Dead. Sam, I would like to know what else you are currently watching.
I've been watching House of the Dragon, The Rings of Power, The Great British Baking Show, She-Hulk, and then starting on Friday, we're going to be watching The Midnight Club, which is a horror TV show done by Mike Flanagan, who has done The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, and then Midnight Mass last year. I recommend everything by him.
What is the Midnight Club? What is that on?
All of his stuff, it's on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Okay, because I'll have to tune in because after I saw Midnight Mass, I was talking to you about it and you were telling me how much you love. And I love all of those, actually. All three of those I love. And so I don't always watch horror movies. It just depends on what type of horror film it is. But those, I liked all of those. So I have a feeling I like this filmmaker too. So or he's a filmmaker.
He
right?
is, yeah. He actually did it was a sequel to Doctor Sleep of Shining.
I know the one with Ewan McGregor, right? I love that one too. Oh my God. So I like him too. I like him too.
He's amazing. So, we watch like horror movies and TV shows like year round in our house. So like we've already I think we started 2 weeks ago with our horror movie watching because we want to do one a day for 31 days, but we can never actually do that. So we start early and just do it for a month and a half. Yeah. And we watched X, which is by it's T.I. and I think it's pronounced and then the last name is W-E-S-T West. I think it's Ty West is the director. It was phenomenal. It was kind of
Did you see it at the theater or did you see it somewhere streaming?
I saw it at home. I think it's on Amazon maybe.
Oh, because I want to watch this. I've heard about it a couple months ago and I wanted to watch it and I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good. I wouldn't say it's definitely I wouldn't say it's think of an 80s horror slasher. So it's not monster scary, but there are some jump scares and there's some horror. It's a horror movie, but it's not I don't know. I'm trying to think of what you wouldn't like in a horror movie.
It's fine. I'm going to watch that anyway. So hopefully other people will tune in too.
It's really good. And then we watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is not a new movie. I think it came out in 99. But my partner hadn't watched it in forever. So I was like, let's watch it. We put it on while we were working. So I didn't have to really pay too much attention to it because we both had watched it before. And I just love the whole vibe is just because it's early aughts or 99. So it's got a vibe. Not really scary, but that's the thing though. If I'm sure when I first watched it, it was horrifying because that's a human doing that. It's not not a superhuman or a monster. That's a dude with a hook for a hand. That could happen. I'd recommend that one too. And then we watched, this one isn't horror related, but we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's phenomenal, amazing. It was a beautiful movie, beautifully shot. The acting's phenomenal. It had a lot of humor in it, but also really thought provoking. Oh, just so good. Michelle Yeoh is phenomenal. I love her and everything. Everything Everywhere All at Once. But
I actually want to see this one too. So I'm going to have to check it out. Do you know what that one might be on?
I think we also rented that one on Prime.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I'll try to look it up and say where it's at. So for me, oh my gosh, I get just so hooked on my reality shows that sometimes I don't have enough time to watch all this new stuff that's out there because I just really I love The Voice. I love the coaches. I love the singers. It makes me feel good watching them. It just, I feel it's very uplifting.
Yeah.
Camila Cabello is one of the judges. She is killing it.
What happened to what's her face?
Kelly Clarkson. I think she just stepped away from it.
Oh, well, because I think she's taken over the Ellen spot, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I know she has her talk show and she's very busy with that and with her kids and everything. I think maybe this was just one thing she just needed to step away from, but I just love it. Gwen Stefani is back because she takes every other year off or something like that. She's back. I love her. It's just really good. I'm enjoying it. It's great. I unfortunately am also watching Bachelor in Paradise, which is like watching a train wreck, but I can't help it. I
could never get into those.
I get sucked
tried
in, and it's crazy, and I shake my head, and I'm like,
but
why
it's
are these
though.
people putting themselves through this? It's crazy. And I'm watching Survivor and plus more. But I'm just naming those for right now. I'm also watching...
brought up, I'm sorry, real quickly.
Go ahead.
You brought up how you like to watch The Voice because it's so uplifting. I love watching the Great British Baking Show for that exact reason because they're so lovely to each other. Like, they help each other out. Like, they'll stop what they're doing to help another person because they're running out of time. If that was in America, they'd be pretend trying to sabotage you. And so it's just it's a nice it's a nice thing to watch, just to unwind but then it makes me hungry, and then I demand a cake or something because it just looks so good.
Cake?
Let's we're gonna order in cake, or we'll go bake a cake or something. But I almost always end up eating something sweet.
I love that. I'm also watching The Patient on Hulu.
How is that?
I've mentioned this before in a previous podcast, but I really wanted to bring it up again because it's really short episodes. Ooh. It's with Steve Carell and Domhnall Gleeson. Steve Carell plays a therapist who is kidnapped on the first episode, so I'm not giving anything away, chained to the bed. Oh. And Domhnall Gleeson wants him to give personal therapy because he's a serial killer. Oh. So has me on the edge of my seat every episode, 25 minutes approximately. They're short, they're intense. You don't know what's going to happen. It's great. Encourage people to watch it if you can take the whole serial killer thing.
Yeah. Do you know how many episodes are left? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know how many are left.
I like to binge stuff, so I'll probably just wait until it's all over, and then I'll probably watch every episode in a single day. Because it sounds great.
I would think I probably have seen maybe 5 of them already. 6. Okay. I'm not even sure where I'm at right now, and I don't know how many they have. I am watching House of the Dragons like you on HBO Max and The Rings of Power on Prime. I'm also watching Tell Me No Lies on Hulu. Mm-hmm. I go in and out of this show. When I first watched it, the first episode, I was totally sucked in. It's about a girl at college and just the relationships. This one guy that has this sexual tension with, and it's a lot of sex in this with college age people, but the relationship these two have, it's so in and out and bizarre. And I first liked the guy and saw what attraction they had, and then I don't like the guy, and then she bugs me on certain things, and it's crazy, and all this other stuff happens. There's this accident and death happens also. So, but it has me in and out. It's and what's so interesting though, this is the thing. I was talking to my son's girlfriend about it because I told her to watch it. Yeah. And then we get in this conversation because the things that I don't like about the guy, she's like, yeah, but this. And then she's like, but I don't like the girl because of this. And I'm like, yeah, but this. So then we're like, ah. So it gets us in these conversations. So it must be at least that.
At least it's entertaining. Yeah.
Yes, for us to, have our points of view on this. So there's that. And then
if you had to pick between House of the Dragon and The Rings of Power, which one do you think you like better?
I can say I am more invested in the House of the Dragons, not because there's anything wrong with the Rings of Power. It's just that right now I'm a little bit behind on the Rings of Power. Okay. So I may not be caught up to where it needs to be, but I'm still going to go back and watch it, but because I've been so busy with everything, I'm staying on top of the House of Dragons. And also maybe because my husband's watching that with me, and the other one, it's just me. And so I can watch that at any time. So that's the only reason I say that. I think they're both really well done. They just are beautifully shot and all of that. The movie that I am going to recommend is Dog. It's on Prime. It's a comedy drama about an Army Ranger played by Channing Tatum who has PTSD and is denied a rotation due to a brain injury. And so they give him this job of taking this dog named Lulu, a military dog, to his fallen friend's funeral. And it's about a person and a dog who have their issues, but of course they need each other. And so we see so much of dog behavior, which cracks me up. You know, the dog running off, tearing up the truck, just all the laying down in the middle of a, walk down, because a car breaks down, they have to walk, and he has to take the dog down the highway, and the dog just lays there flat.
It's not going.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going anymore. It just makes me laugh. Oh, the dog not wanting to take a bath. And then Channing has to get into the tub with the dog. But it's so funny because he's trying to get the dog into the tub. He's all, come on, puppy. Come on. Come on. I don't want to have to kill you. Come on. Come on. It's just so funny because
that's adorable.
It's just, it's it's light. It's nothing heavy duty except for, when it gets into the dog human relationship.
And like the PTSD probably.
Yeah, but it's not super heavy on that. Okay. It's it's much lighter, but it does have its moments where you're like kind of grip, like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? It's toward the ending. It's just a decent movie to watch. It's, like I said, it's not too heavy. And so it's co-directed by Channing Tatum too, which I didn't realize until the very end. And I also wanted to mention that the dog is I thought it was a German Shepherd. It's a Belgium Shepherd. So she's a girl. She's cute. Her name is Lulu. So that's my recommendations. Sam, I want to thank you for your recommendations. I want to thank you for joining me today and talking about The Walking Dead. I'm so glad that you joined me. Thank you.
I'm very glad you asked me. It was funny, like you had asked me when I first started like working with you, and I was like, I don't know, because I like at that point hadn't like I do have a stutter, and so it's weird for me to talk sometimes, so I don't like doing that. And then, so I started in December, and then January through like May, I did this yoga teacher training, and I learned to find my voice, which like I never would have like thought. Yeah. And so when you asked me to do it, I was like, I can actually do this now, because I have to talk in front of random people once a week for probably the rest of my life. So like I have no problem. I mean, I was still nervous, but I never I was just like a normal amount of nerves. So.
Right.
Yeah. So like, I'm very happy that you asked me to do this, because I'm like, I love The Walking Dead. I don't have anyone really to talk about this with. Like my partner doesn't really watch it anymore. And we used to go to my aunt and uncle's like every week, no matter what. And we would watch it. And there's like 4 or 5 of us. We like order food, and, we hang out and like chat. So it's like a nice way for me to connect to my family. And so, yeah, and it's so special because it's the first episode of the final third or whatever this was. Oh, so it's like so meaningful.
Thank you for sharing a piece of yourself with me and our listeners. I think that it's really important. And I love that because you overcame, a fear that you had. And I love that. And just me too, doing this podcast, believe it or not, I love talking about TV, but I also get, fearful of oh my gosh, I got to speak, I got to do this. And
then you're worried, like, what if I sound stupid, or like, what if that's like a dumb
never.
thought?
You sound amazing. No. Oh, that's me.
No,
okay.
No.
Dumb thoughts are welcome. Just FYI. Let me just tell you that. Anyway, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you much.
I want to say to all our listeners, thank you for joining us, because that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We are grateful you tuned in, and we hope something we said today resonated with you and gave you a chuckle, some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Please subscribe to our website and follow Screens in Focus, and tell a friend. We would love more members of our TV club. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. This helps other listeners find us. We'll be releasing a new episode next week. Next show will be on The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 18. You'll find our website listed in our show notes. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.